Shabbat Shalom. This week's Parsha, Parshat Vayeshev, we start the fantastic story of Joseph and his brothers. We all know the story, how Joseph is the 17-year-old, how he's hated by his brothers, how they are jealous of him because he receives the coats of many colors, how the brothers orchestrate to have him sold down to Egypt, and how he sojourns there for many, many years. Joseph is caught up in the events of the house of Potiphar. He rises to great prominence and he's soon made master of the house. This, of course, leads him to come into contact with the wife of Potiphar. And the wife of Potiphar sees this gorgeous young man with the long hair and the locks, and she falls madly in love with him. And she tries to seduce him, say, just lie with me, be with me. And every time Joseph refuses her advances. One day, there is a festival, and Joseph says, I'm not going to this non-Jewish festival, I'm going to stay at home. The Potiphar's wife says, this is the time in which I can get him. And she goes and she pretends that she's sick. She goes home, she confronts Joseph, and according to the Midrash, as described in the Torah, she tries to lie with him, seduce him, and he almost gives in. And then, says the Midrash, Yosef sees a picture of his father, an image of his father in his mind, and when he pulls away from the door of the wife of Potiphar, he runs away, leaving his coat in her hands. She then uses this as a means to attack him, and he is falsely accused of trying to rape her. He is incarcerated in prison, and there he will languish for many, many years. What I want to talk about today is about how Yosef survived. How did he manage to stay away from the wife of Potiphar? Here was a woman who tried to seduce him. She then falsely accuses him of trying to lie with her. But Yosef maintains his integrity and his identity. And even though he was about to lose control, something stopped him. And that was the vision of his father. He saw his father's image and looking at him and frowning and shaking his head, says, that is not the way to behave, my son. You do not do such a thing. And this is a very powerful lesson for every single one of us. We all are faced with different challenges that are going to test our resolve and test our moral compass. And the question is, what are you going to do to maintain your moral integrity and your grounding? Yosef had an image of his father. That image meant that whatever happened to him, he would always have to ask himself the question, what would my father say? How would he react if he knew I was doing this and failing him? If we can find that person that we look up to, that we respect, that we know that if they saw what I was doing, would frown at us and say, this is not your behavior, this is not how you should behave, this would be a wonderful arrow in our quiver to protect us from the fall. Because guaranteed, we are all going to be faced with challenges, and the more protection we can afford ourselves, the better. Yosef had an image of his father, and that is what protected him from the wife of Potiphar. Yes, it didn't help him. He was falsely accused. He was imprisoned for a supposed crime. He was later shown to be proved innocent. But at least he went there knowing his integrity was maintained and he never dropped his moral level. Look to that role model. Look to that person. Find that person who you can always look up to, and then ask yourself the question, before you do something, getting yourself into trouble, what would that person say? Yosef said, what would my father say? And that was all he needed to protect him from sinning with the wife of Potiphar. Much to think about. Shabbat Shalom.